Okay, the first thing we're going to do is click on the Start menu. And under All Programs, you should now see Microsoft Windows AIK. If you click on that, this little drop-down menu appears, and right-click on Deployment Tools Command Prompt and select Run as Administrator. The next portion of this can get a little bit complicated, and it's very important that you pay close attention and that you enter in all the code absolutely correctly, or this is not going to work. I'm just selecting File Explorer and then Computer so I can show you what this is doing. So you don't really have to open File Explorer, but it's nice to give you a better idea of what's going on as we're entering commands here into the command prompt. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to select Actually, I'm going to show you one other thing before we get started. Now, notice it says C, or begins with C, so we're going to go find C, which is right here, and then this is the path. So it's saying go find the folder called Program Files, which is right here, and then go find the folder called Windows AIK, which is right here, find Tools, which is here, and PE Tools, which is here. So all the commands we're putting in the command prompt at this point in time is going to look inside this directory. And the first thing we're going to do is, and then this one is just showing you what's in the C directory. The first thing we're going to do is type copy PE x86. Now this portion is where I told you if you're running a 64-bit operating system instead of x86, this is where you would put in AMD 64. Since we're running a 32-bit, we're using x86. So anytime you're entering in commands in the command prompt, anytime you see x86, if you have a 64-bit operating system, you would replace the x86 with AMD 64. So the command is copy PE x86, and we want to put it in the C drive, and we want to put it inside of a folder or create a folder called Win7PE _x86. Now if you watch down here, when I enter the command, when I press enter, you're going to see that that file folder is copied there if we've done this correctly. And you can see it did show up right here. 6 files copied, and you can see right here, and if I click on that, you can see we have ISO, mount, etfs boot, WinPE.wim, the various things that we're going to need to do our deployment. So that just gives you an idea what that does. Also notice that the directory changed. Now we're actually going to be putting in commands, and we're within this directory right here. So our commands are now going to occur here. So the next thing we're going to do is copy C Win7PE _x86 WinPE.wim, and we want to copy it to C17PE underscore x86, and we want to put it in ISO, and then sources, and call it boot.wim. So we are basically copying it from one location to another, and we're renaming it. Instead of WinPE.wim, it's going to be boot.wim. So each time you're putting in these commands, you should double and triple check and verify that your code's been entered correctly, because if you have one thing missing, it's going to cause you to have to go back and potentially delete the file that you've created in the C drive and start back over from scratch. And at some point, if you don't get in the habit of double checking your commands before pressing enter, you could potentially, especially when you get to the sysprep portion, have to start all the way back over from the beginning with a brand new install. So I highly suggest double checking this, which is what I'm going to do now. Copy C:17PE underscore x86 WinPE.wim, C:17PE underscore x86 ISO sources boot.wim. Looks good to me. So if we want to verify that this is going to copy, we're going to go to ISO, and we're going to go to sources, and you'll see that there isn't anything in here at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter, and you can see boot.wim showed up. And also verify this is the file size is 111,415, and if we look at where we copied it from, which was here, we'll just go back here and here, WinPE.wim, also 111,415. So you can see that it did copy it, and then it renamed it to boot.wim. Okay, so we're ready for the next step. Next one's just a little bit longer. Going to copy. This time we're going to use quotations, because what we're going to place inside these quotations is a path, and this path has spaces, and whenever you have spaces, then you need to put this in quotations or double quotations. So we'll see. Program, see, and there's the space right there. Program files, Windows AIK, another space. Tools, x86, image.exe. Okay, so we're going to copy that to Win7PE underscore x86, and we're going to put it in the ISO directory. And again, we're going to double check that we spelled everything correctly and that we're not missing anything. You see, program files, Windows AIK, tools, x86. And see, we do have a mistake here. It is not image.exe, it is imagex.exe. .exe. So this is a good example of why you would want to check to make sure that everything is spelled correctly. We have C 17PE underscore x86 and putting it in the ISO directory. So if we go into ISO, we can see that there is no image X currently in here. So when we press enter, we expect to see that one file copied, image X right there. So we're good.